You gotta do it alone. You gotta do it broke. You gotta do it tired. You gotta do it scared. You gotta do it when everyone else is telling you not to do it. You gotta do it and keep doing it even when you don't know what's coming. You gotta do it even when you are anxious, even when you don't know how to do it, even when you feel scared. You gotta do it right now. Anything else is an excuse. Now, there's a study that shows that people who watch videos on full screen are way more likely to actually take meaningful action. Now, I totally didn't make that study up, but please enjoy this video. Part number 1, right now or never. Let me tell you a story. 5 months ago, my life completely changed. I took a leap of faith. I took a big risk, a calculated decision, which wasn't certain to succeed. I was just your average college student attending normal classes and doing what I was told. And I had this dream, I wanted to take YouTube seriously. I wanted to make these videos and, inspire a generation. So I finally decided to cut all the excuses and I decided to go all in with my friend to build the YouTube channel, build our private community, Discipline OS, and we were literally down to our last dollar. Pretty much we had no other choice than to make this work, and we did. You see, there was no plan B. I had to either make this work or absolutely nothing. And to me, the alternative, to me, the second option was no way to live. When people ask me, how do you stay consistent with videos, with uploading, with the work, with the habits, the consistency, the routines, and I always say the same thing. I have no other choice. I have no other choice. Even if I wanted to do something else, I absolutely couldn't. You see, me and my friend, we took that leap of faith. We took the risk and it paid off. But just think about where we would be. Think about where I would be. Think about where you would be if you didn't take that risk. Now, if we hadn't taken that leap of faith, we'd probably be just working a job we hate to buy things we don't even need. Now, why am I telling you this? What is the purpose of this whole entire video? It is simple. This is your sign to do the things you've always wanted to do. This is your sign to start the business, to start the fitness journey, to do the things that you need to do to get to that goal, to achieve the outcome, to achieve the success that you've always dreamt of. This is your sign to simply change your life around. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Unless you want to stay in the same spot and stay stuck living the exact same life, then you need to sit down with yourself, take out a journal, and write down exactly where you want to be. Just write down your final goal, where you want to be, the outcome you want to live in a journal like this, and then write down every single thing that you have to do to get there. And then you simply just take the action. You simply just wake up, you do it broke, you do it tired, you do it alone, and you take the actions you need to take no matter the circumstance, right? You've definitely heard this before. I say this in pretty much every video. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. And it comes back to this, if you only act when you feel like it, when the circumstances are perfect, then simply you're not going to take enough action to see the result. But if you want to take enough action, if you want to take the action to see the results that you want to see in your life, then you need to do it anyways. So do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to take the risk, to take the leap of faith, to start the thing you've always wanted to start, and to make things happen. There's a quote that I love. It goes like this: if you really want to do something, you will find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. You see, you've definitely heard the phrase before, lock in, go all in, make it happen. And the feeling of going all in is like a single candle in a dark room. You see, everything else is uncertain, everything is in the darkness, but you still have light. And that is all you need. Just a little bit of light, just a little bit of vision to get you going. Every movement is small, but it is also real. I mean, at the start, when my community, Discipline OS, just had 10 to 20 members, we literally had no idea how we would grow it, how we would advertise it, how we would talk about it. We didn't really know how to grow. We didn't really know how to fulfill, how to make people want to stay. And at first it was so hard to just figure everything out, but I'm telling you, it was so worth it. Every part of the grind, every part of the process, every part of those nights where you're grinding, you're just doing what you have to do, you're learning, you're experimenting. Every part of the grind, when you look back 2 years from now, 5 months from now, 6 months from now, you will be so grateful that you just stuck to the path. Now, momentum starts before confidence arrives, and confidence only follows action. Now, if you're watching this video, then you are aware that action delivers the outcome. Anything else, planning, talking about your goals, thinking about your goals, does not replace the fundament, which is just taking action. The more action you take towards your goal, the more results you will see. Because the truth is, 99% of people, they just talk about a goal, and years go by and they never took action. They never took these steps. So let me ask you this: because you're watching these videos on this channel, it means that you care about your growth. You want to get to the next step and you want to become the best version of yourself possible. Now, because that's the case, just ask yourself, how much action am I taking versus how much am I thinking? And if you're thinking more than you're taking action, then something needs to change. Now, part number 2, you see, this is the initial lock-in phase, when you just decide enough is enough. I'm tired of living the same life I've always lived, and I just want to change. I just want to take this seriously and I want to get to the next step. Because if you have big goals and ambitions and you just want to change and you just want to see things happen in your life, more money, more responsibility, more freedom, more physical health, better mental health, better relationships, health and wealth, and you just want to improve your life in all areas, then you just need to lock in. You need to enter the phase called beginner's hell, right? The phase called beginner's hell is the beginning when, nothing seems to be working out. You're just getting started and you don't see results. The results that are actually going to motivate you to work even harder. Because when you see results, you start to get obsessed. So you need to ask yourself, how do you get to the point where you see results so that you can be more motivated to take more action? And it's simple. You just stick with something for long enough until you see results. The beginning phase is the hardest phase because you're just figuring everything out. You don't even know if it's going to work. You don't even know if all the hard work is going to pay off. But you just have to have faith. You just have to believe. You just have to trust in God's plan, in your own plan, and just in the person you want to become. But the reason why you need to start as early as possible is because the earlier you start, the sooner you get past this beginner's hell, past the phase where things aren't fun, where the work isn't fun, and you just have to push yourself, right? The sooner you start, the sooner you get results. The sooner you start, the sooner you figure things out. The sooner you fail, the sooner you succeed. And remember, success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that actually counts. Now, I've been on a very long journey to get to where I am today. And obviously, there's way more room to grow. But on my path, growing my business, growing the YouTube channel, improving my physique, making more money, just improving myself, my confidence, working on myself, gathering wisdom, doing the discipline, doing the habits and showing up for myself. This whole journey, this whole self-improvement path, it was hard. It was hard because people, they doubt you, People aren't always going to root for you. They're not always going to support you. But the thing you have to understand is you have to stick with it long enough till people support you. They're not going to support you at the beginning. They're not going to understand your vision right at the start. But that's when you have to push through till you see results. The results that will make you obsessed enough and motivated enough to keep going till you get more results, till you persist for longer, you become more successful. And then eventually people will be like, I get it now. You see, just think about this for a second. When people support you the most, that is when you need it the least. But when people support you the least, that is when you need it the most. Because when you're already seeing results, when you're already seeing success, when money starts flowing in, when you start to improve yourself, and you see these things starting to take shape in your life, at that point, you don't really need the encouragement, you don't need the support, you don't need the fancy words and the love, but you need it when you actually start, when you're just getting started, when you're confused, when you're just figuring things out. But that's just the unfortunate truth of trying to make a change, trying to, you're definitely ambitious if you're watching a video like this. You definitely have big goals that you want to achieve and a place you want to be and a person you want to become. And just because of that fact, you're going to be misunderstood for a long time before you become understood. And at that point, it doesn't even matter. So one very, very important key concept for today is trial and error. You see, everything in the world comes down to how many times can you just try so you can get feedback, so you can try again and just figure things out. Instead of focusing on learning skills, I focused on learning how to learn, right? Learning how to learn is the best skill you can learn, because when I wanted to, start playing paddle and learn, I already had this skill to learn quickly. So I was able to, within a few games, to develop decent technique, to, hit shots, to be good, decently good. And that is one of the most important skills you can learn, because everything changes, right? Environment changes. So if you just focus on learning one skill, but then you can adapt, you can improvise. And if something new, like a new trend comes around or a new skill comes and you have to capitalize, you have to be fast, because speed is the key. At that point, the only thing that is going to save you is how fast can you learn something? How fast can you move? How fast can you take action? And how fast can you keep the promises you make yourself? And the question is, how do you train the skill to learn how to learn? You just train that by trying different things, by taking action, by trying the new business model, by practicing, by doing a lot of things. Now, most of the time, it's just the boring consistency that takes you to where you want to be. By the way, if you like these videos and these concepts for personal growth, then subscribe to the channel to keep seeing more. Part number 3, momentum in motion. Now, this is the most important part. This is the part where people get complacent, where they just lose this drive. The point where people just stop pushing for more. Now, if you're in this phase, you know exactly what I mean. If not, then listen up. This is your time to execute faster, to take faster action, to take more serious action towards your goals. This is your time to improve your time management, your productivity, your goal setting, your discipline, your motivation, your screen time, to improve everything across all areas, and that's how you win. This is definitely not the time to kick up your feet on the table and just sit back and relax. This is the deciding factor. This is where every moment counts, every action counts, and everything you do defines your future. It builds your future. You got to choose between instant and delayed gratification, right? You can either work hard now, dedicate yourself to something now, commit yourself to something, and build something now so that later you can relax. Or you can relax now and then later life will be hard. I made a very important switch in my life with my mindset, with my tasks, with the things that I do, and I'm going to tell you in a second. Now, this switch is arguably one of the most fundamentally changing things that I've experienced. So it goes like this. The switch is, I asked myself, You know, if I had 2 hours of work per week, the whole week, I couldn't work for more than 2 hours. What would I do, right? And I said this before, and the truth is, what I would do is I would eliminate 99% of most things that I was doing, right? My tasks comprised of just simply checking emails, random stuff, checking random stuff, you know, doing this, doing that. And it just didn't make sense. It wasn't productive. It was just fake productivity. So basically, I took a look at my tasks and all of my inputs and everything that I did. And I just asked myself, is this important? If it's not, I remove it. If it is, I double down. And that way I eliminate 80% of the fluff, the random tasks that just produce 20% of the results. And I double down and I really focus on the 20% of tasks that create 80% of the outcome. And that way I was able to, funny enough, work less, achieve more, live my dream life, and do the things that I want to do and be happy. Now that is the important switch that is going to change your life, right? Understand, what are you doing with your time, right? Time is the essence. Time is everything. We all have the same 24 hours. And it is pretty much what you do with your time that makes your life. So if you control your time management, you can control your outcome and the life that you live. So find your rhythm with your action, with your productivity, with the things that you do. Find your flow state, find your focus, find your edge. Just work when you're most productive. Work when you're sharp, you know, work when you know that you're going to get work done. Work hard and play hard. Instead of hovering at 50% focus, just focus for 100% for less time, and then rest for 100%, and then focus for 100%, and then rest 100%. And that way you get the best of both worlds. Because most of the time you're going to work for 12 hours, but during those 12 hours, you're only half focused. So that you don't even rest. So you're even more drained the next day around, and you work even less focused. Now just decide and set the intention to go all in, right? After watching this video, you probably have a couple of different thoughts. You're probably thinking a couple of different things, but it just comes back to this one thing, right? Do it broke, do it alone, do it tired, do it anxious, right? Do it confused, because you're going to have to do the work anyways. And if you tell yourself there's no other choice than for me to achieve my goal and work towards that goal every single day, then I will. Because I remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I had that dream, when I had that vision, but I was doing nothing about it, I was miserable. And at that time, I just felt no other choice than the compulsion, the drive, the desire to just take the actions that I have to take, the steps, the experimentation, the process that is going to take me to the result, that is going to take me to all the goals that I had. And that's the only reason why I was able to build what I built. And I'm also still building. I'm never going to stop. This is my life's purpose and my mission. Now, I'm just a regular human being, but I just developed the incredible drive, the determination, the persistence, the mindset of I'm going to achieve my goal no matter what happens, no matter what the life situation is like. I am going to persist until I succeed. Failure will not overtake me if my determination to succeed is strong enough. So I've used everything I've learned, everything I've gone through to build systems and protocols, as well as a network that forced me to be the best version of myself. So join me and 170 members today to scale your income, to become the person your family and friends deeply respect, to achieve and build success in the age of distraction. And chances are you're just fed up with being average, and you just put your foot down and decide that today is the day you start becoming the person you know you were meant to be. So to join Discipline OS, click the link in the description below, and we'll see you inside.